We all know that if we see something moving, it is alive. Some of these movements are in fact the result of growth, as in plants. Why do we associate such visible movements with life? A possible answer is that we think of movement as a response to a change in the environment of the organism. For example, a child is running because she is chasing a balloon, etc. Let us now see some other movement which will be the main theme of the conversation in this video. What you've seen in this scene shown to you are the common reactions that you have probably experienced many times, which happens instantaneously without your control. Do you know what is this reaction that our body exhibits called? Yes, this reaction by our body is called reflex action. In this video, you will learn all the whys and the hows of this phenomenon. Reflex. Reflex is a word we use very commonly when we talk about some sudden action in response to something in the environment. We say, I jumped out of the way of the bus reflexly, or I pulled my hand back from the flame reflexly. What is reflex reaction? Reflex action is an involuntary, unplanned sequence of action exhibited by a living body in response to a stimulus. The movement is mostly instantaneous. Reflex action is where we do something without thinking about it, or without feeling in control of our reactions. Yet, our bodies are able to respond to these situations. How is control and coordination achieved in such situations? One seemingly simple way is to think consciously about the pain and the possibility of getting burned or pricked, and therefore move our hand quickly. An important question then is, how long will it take us to think all this? The answer depends on how we think. If nerve impulses are sent around the way, then thinking is also likely to involve the creation of such impulses. Thinking is a complex activity, so it is bound to involve a complicated interaction of many nerve impulses from many neurons. If this is the case, it is no surprise that the thinking tissue, that is, nerves for detection and nerves for moving the muscles, in our body consists of dense network of intricate arranged neurons. Hence, in order to receive all these signals from various parts of the body to the brain and from the brain to the muscle to instruct them to move will take some amount of time, and we may get burned or pricked. How does our body solve this problem? Rather than having to think about the sensation of heat, what our body can do is, if the nerves that detect heat were to be connected to the nerve that move muscles, the process of detecting the signal or the input and responding to it by an input action might be more quickly. Such a connection is called a reflex arc. In simple terms, a reflex arc is a neural pathway that controls a reflex. Where should such reflex arc connections be made between the input nerves and the output nerves? Nerves from all over the body meet in a bundle in the spinal cord on their way to the brain. Reflex arcs are formed in the spinal cord itself, although the information input also goes on to reach the brain. Reflex arcs have evolved in animals because the thinking process of the brain is not fast enough. In fact, many animals have very little or none of the complex neuron network needed for thinking. So, it is quite likely that reflex arcs have evolved as efficient ways of functioning in the absence of true thought processes. However, Even after complex neuron networks have come into existence, reflex arc continued to be more efficient for quick responses. I hope you have learned something from this video about reflex action and how this phenomenon helps us in our everyday life. Can you now trace the sequence of events which occur when a bright light is focused on your eyes?